William. William. Why are you so cute? Don't look at me like that. I just think you're adorable. I just think you're adorable. You're cute too. What's up, guys? I'm getting ready to go outside and do a couple things I gotta mark off my list before the sun goes down. But first I am making a cup of tea to take with me because I'm not feeling bad, but I'm not feeling great. And I think that it's probably just the weather is changing drastically every couple weeks, and it just kind of throws me off. So these are just some tea bags. Sometimes I make loose leaf teas, sometimes I make them from stuff I grow, sometimes I just buy bulk herbs, and sometimes I buy tea bags. These are two different kinds, elderberry and echinacea, and lemon and echinacea, in which I will put a little bit of manuka honey and maybe a little bit more lemon juice. If nothing else, just a cup of hot tea is so comforting when you feel just a little cruddy. I just didn't sleep very well last night, and that throws me off. And so I may just be tired. That could be it. But I've got kind of the whole crud in my head going on, and you know, gotta take care of yourself. Oh, I'm gonna sip this just for a moment before I go out there. Maya's gonna help me roll the walls of the high tunnel up, and he and Ben are playing catch, so I'm gonna give them another minute before I interrupt them. I do want to remind you guys that today is the last day, so we've got 24 hours from the time this will go up, to order our merch, our shirts, sweatshirts. We do have the overalls that are embroidered for the holiday shipping. So we're closing that pre-order now so they can start printing and shipping those out. And this will be the last pre-order that we have before Christmas. So there's your reminder. I'll put the links down below. Be Unlimited is the business in Arkansas that we use to make our merch, and we do it all by pre-order because it does allow us to produce a more quality product, and it never fails. As soon as we close it, I'll get 15 messages of people being like, hey, where can I buy your merch? So here's your reminder. It's available now for the next 24 hours, and then it won't be available again for the rest of the year. One more thing I would really love some input on. These are the moments that I totally take advantage of the fact that I have this opportunity to communicate with 40,000 people at once. It's pretty awesome. Hey, go in the back fridge and get me one of those jars of the yellow looking milk, okay? So Freya gave birth the day before Thanksgiving. And the way we do with our cows, which I can say that now as a blanket statement, as if we have a way of doing things, because we've now had 2 cows give birth on our farm, so I feel like we're not complete and total newbies. But my friend Hannah, I just kind of follow her instructions when it comes to cows because she has been successfully keeping them for significantly longer than me, and I agree with the way that she does things, and how she advised me and what we did with Helen and then now Freya is we don't immediately start completely milking our cows out fully right after they calve, because one of the risks with Jerseys being high producing is that after they calve they can go down with milk fever. And you know, from the advice that Hannah gave me, and I see a lot of conflicting advice out there. I see people in cow groups, and I've read in cow books different instructions. This is just what we've chosen to do, which is we will milk some to alleviate engorgement and kind of help. I'll put some peppermint balm on to kind of help with edema, but I do not immediately start milking the cow all the way out. So it's like the first day I don't do anything, the next day I milk just a little bit, and until I can feel that she's like loosening up a little bit, and then I'll kind of increase, but I have yet to milk Freya out entirely. We'll work up to that, and then after about the first week or so, that's when we'll really start like milking her once a day, and then after a couple weeks is when we'll separate the calf. So anyway, this I'm just now bringing milk in. So when I first milked her, it was entirely colostrum. we froze that to have on hand. It's good to have. If a calf doesn't get colostrum within 24 hours of being born, it really greatly affects their health and even chances of thriving and surviving. So having extra colostrum on hand is always good. But the milk's still coming in, and this is after it separates. This is Freya's, and this is obviously like very much colostrum still. This is where I need some input. I've never used cow colostrum because, well, honestly, it's just not something that is really very commonly done in our culture. And if I'm being completely frank, not being raised on a farm, not being raised necessarily around real food, there are things about growing food that have freaked me out. Like when we first got eggs from our chickens many years ago, I was like, are these safe to eat? When I first started growing food out of the garden, there was like a little bit of a hesitation when it was dirty or when it had holes in it or when it had bugs on it. And this is where I started saying to people, hey, real food comes dirty. But I always want to reiterate, like, it's normal to be a little freaked out because we were raised in a culture that this wasn't normal. However, in some cultures, bovine colostrum is called bee stings. I know in the UK they call it bee stings. It's called other things, but it's actually kind of a delicacy. And I've been looking at different recipes. There was one I found that was like from Punjab that was kind of like a steamed custard. There are bee stings recipes that were British, but this has really fallen out of any sort of norm because a lot of people don't keep dairy cows and you can't just go buy colostrum at the store. So if you have some sort of recipe to try this, I would really like to be adventurous and make something and try it. I've looked at a couple, but I wanted to ask you guys first rather than just Googling it and trying something that I found on the internet. I would love to have some input. Maybe you live in a place where this is something that you have made before or eaten before. Maybe you have a memory of being younger and having, you know, a grandparent that made something like this. Can you please share your knowledge, share your experience? I've got this, I've got another one. We're gonna milk her again tomorrow. And I'm gonna be adventurous and try it. Toby, are you gonna try the colostrum?
I'll try it.
That's a pretty brave response.
Yeah.
From a picky boy.
I'm not always picky. Well, sometimes.
Oh, I'm glad that you're saying you'll try it. Yeah. Oh, isn't William Wallace the cutest sitting by the window? He's so cute. All right, let's go outside.
Run, 7, hut!
Almost the first one.
Almost.
Okay, you quarterback. Now I'm gonna go out, and then I'm just gonna go to the right.
There's it. What?
I went to the right. That I am overwhelmed when I look at your mom with the amount of love I have for her.
They're like, ew.
Ew. You won't say ew eventually.
When I'm a grown up, I won't.
That's right.
When I'm a grown up, I won't say ew. Happy chickens. These guys are getting moved over tomorrow. We just got to close them up tonight. So what we do before we move the chickens is when they go up tonight, they'll all go into the coop when the sun goes down. They just automatically do that. And Maya will come out here and change the setting on this automatic coop door to not open in the morning. So that way, when we're ready to move them, we will not be ready to move them before sunrise. We'll be getting up and doing like our morning routine, getting the kids up and ready and walking the dog and all that stuff. So by closing the coop door, it gives us a little more time. And we can come out here and move them probably about 8 in the morning, and they'll be all enclosed in that coop. We'll take the fence down, move it over, drag this over. I'll show you guys. And then tomorrow afternoon, I think we're gonna try to kind of put this garden to bed for the winter and get it all cleaned up. All right, in this high tunnel, we have brassicas, some more brassicas going in. We have citrus. I have this asparagus, which is browning, which is, you know, normal here at the end of the season. I'm getting ready to cut that out. And all these brassicas look really good. It's like we've got food out here that I'm working into the meal plan this week. Big old head of cauliflower. Got some really nice heads of cabbage. Those will I probably pick those in the next like week or two. Brussels sprouts are starting. As you can see, the things that are frost tender have already died back in here. There's a bird. There have been birds getting in here in the open door. You got a sour calamondin. You gonna eat it?
I heard that they're called calamondins.
Yeah, calamondin. So what the birds are doing is coming in and they are getting the little berries off the asparagus plants and they're posting up somewhere and eating them, as you can see right here. And I'm not about that. Also, everything that's frost tender in here has died. It's warming up. South Carolina, we can have freezing temperatures. It's never a terribly hard freeze, but it can also very commonly be, you know, 75 degrees Fahrenheit, like 22 Celsius, just on it. It was that warm the other day. And when it's that warm, it's very hot in here. It gets too hot for brassicas. So we're actually gonna roll the sidewalls up, and at this point, I'm gonna pretty much leave them up, even if it's gonna freeze. Now, if it's gonna get much colder than freezing, like 32 Fahrenheit, 0 Celsius, like right at freezing, I'm not gonna bother closing the high tunnel up because everything that would kill is already dead from those much colder nights we had. But if it is gonna be like significantly colder than that, I'll come close it up because that might damage the brassicas. But as of right now, I think the heat is actually more of a risk. I mean, I've spent more time than I care to spend trying to get birds out of here. This way, you know, I'm gonna cut the asparagus back. I was trying to let it brown up a little bit more, but by opening the sidewalls and cutting the asparagus down, hopefully the birds will find something else. There he is. We're about to get you out, buddy. Thank you. That's so kind. What a sweet boy. All right, thank you for your assistance.
All right, we're gonna go run a couple routes.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna go inside and get ready for dinner.
And then we eat and then...
Bedtime.
No, not bedtime.
Yeah.
And he cooks too.
You already knew I cooked.
Dicing some sweet potatoes from the garden. Got some steaks thawed out because my little baby angels just got back from their dads. Jackson and Asher have been in Arkansas this last week for Thanksgiving, so their dad's here tonight. He just ran to town, and we're all gonna have dinner here in a little bit. You know what? I wonder if I should go grab that head of broccoli out of the high tunnel and roast it. I don't know. I was gonna make broccoli cheese soup out of that.
That's long.
I mean, it would be more for you. I'm not eating cheese, unfortunately.
I am eating cheese, so that sounds good.
Little boys are in here watching The Grinch. What do you think, Jack? Back for Christmas time. And on that note, I will bid you farewell. And I'm gonna go put on sweatpants and cook this dinner. And then snuggle on the couch for Christmas movies. Sounds like a win. Thank you guys for hanging out with us today and all the days that you do. God bless you. Until next time.